Welcome to the Fund2000.com Real Estate Podcast. My name is Chuck Ham, and today we're going to look at some market statistics, mortgage rates, and real estate inventory. We'll look at inventory in Ventura County, where I live and where I've done a lot of real estate transactions over the years. And we'll look at a report that looks at the market for August of 2022, and we'll zero in on days on market. Days on market is how long a property is on the market from the time it is listed to the time that it is sold. But there are different statuses for days on market that MLSs typically use, which I will explain. The most important one for today's discussion is the active status, because that is the status where the property is actually on the market. And it begins when it is listed. So when the property is listed until the seller accepts an offer, it should be in an active status. Once the seller accepts an offer, then it goes to a different status called active under contract. Other MLSs might call it something different. We used to call it backup contingent. That meant that the sellers could accept backup offers and that the buyer was still contingent. The active under contract status begins again when the seller accepts a buyer's offer and ends when the due diligence period for that buyer is over and the contingencies under the contract are removed. That's when the MLS status changes to pending. That's the next status. The property can still be marketed while the property is active under contract because the buyer still hasn't fully committed to purchase the property. The buyer is still doing due diligence. The pending status means due diligence and disclosures are done and no contingencies remain. All that is left at that point is to close, fund the transaction and close. Closing means the sale has been recorded at the county, title is then transferred, money is paid, and possession can be delivered to the buyer, and so on. Sometimes people will use the terms closed and sold interchangeably. Days on market means the days that the listing is active. Simple enough. There are some exceptions, but to keep this simple, if the property is sold, the only thing that counts towards days on market is how many days it was on active status. Days on market is an important metric. When demand is high or supply is low, days on market trends lower. High demand might mean that buyers are buying up all the properties quickly. There are a lot of buyers out there. Low supply usually means that the amount of homes that are available is very limited. Low inventory is a word that we use a lot for that, and that's when days on market trends lower. On the other hand, when demand is low or supply is high, days on market starts to trend higher. So when there are a lot of homes, for example, high inventory, they tend to stay on the market longer. So it's pretty intuitive. When demand is low, that means buyers aren't buying whatever's on the market, and similarly, the number of days on the market trends higher. So let's look at some statistics in Ventura County, and I'm going to use my approach, which is first to establish a baseline. So our baseline is the homes that have sold for the past 12 months, and we're trying to answer the question using these statistics for the past 12 months. How long were those homes that sold on the market? What was their days on market? Then we compare those days on market to our current listings, the ones that are active today. And then we can see how the market is performing today versus the past 12 months. So what we're going to find is that Ventura County numbers are following the national trend as reported in the news, which is that the properties are staying on the market longer. Our real estate market is not performing well in Ventura County, or as well as we got used to for the past 12 months. So you can see I'm using a market summary that's dated August 2022. You can see if you're looking at YouTube, you can go to our channel on YouTube, just look for Fund2000.com Real Estate Podcast, and you'll find us. And you'll be able to see the one-page report that I'm sharing here. Bottom left corner gives us days on market. So what we see is in Ventura County, starting in around January, our days on market from their high point in January of 2022 at about 31 days on market, started coming down, and in May of 2022 it hit their lowest point, which is about 21 days. May of 2022, 21 days on market, and now we're from May of 2022 trending upwards. If we look at the line that goes from May to August, it trends upward to August of 2022 to be about 34 days on market. That's average for the entire MLS. We're going to look at some more specific numbers than that, though. Let's look at Oxnard. Oxnard's our biggest city in Ventura County, and unfortunately I'm going to get to the baseline last just because of the way my data is organized here. So let's look at the active listings in Oxnard. Everything that's active today has been on the market for about 63 days average. And that's a cumulative number. If the property was listed and then it went under contract and went back on the market, we look at the days that it was back on the market as well as the days that it was active originally, and we get 63 average days on market for Oxnard. Now, in Oxnard, we have a bunch of properties that are active under contract. Well, they were on the market for 70 days. Then we look at pending, which those are going to be a little bit older of a transaction because they've already gotten through their due diligence period and now they're just waiting to close. They generally got listed a little bit earlier than the other listings we have looked at. Those had a days on market average of just under 48 days. So now let's look at our closed properties to give us something to compare to. We've got 70 days for active under contract, 63 days for actives, and pendings were at just under 48. For the past 12 months in Oxnard, we got used to only 26 days on market. We're now at 3 times the days on market we previously were experiencing. Let's look at a different city now, Ventura. Ventura is a great little market, great little city in Southern California, and active listings, those listings that are on the market today, have been sitting there on average 53 days. The active under contract listings are about 4 days above that. They've been on the market for 57 days. And then the pending properties have been on the market for just under 41 days. Well, in Ventura, for the past 12 months, we were at about 22 days on market. So we see there's a big change. Now let's look at Camarillo. Camarillo active listings have been on the market for 41 days on average. Active under contract, just a little bit higher at 48 days average. Pendings, only 35. And then close is going to be like the others, a much lower number because the market has changed. The closed sales for the past 12 months, how long did those listings sit on the market? Just under 24 days average. There were a couple listings that I thought were interesting. If we look at 5607 Camino de Ville, it's listed currently at $825. Its original list price is $825. It's been on the market for about 30 days, and it's a pretty average home at 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, 1,500 square feet, and a lot size of about 5,000. And it's not sold yet. 30 days on the market. Let's look at another listing in Camarillo also. This is a funny one for me because it's Opendoor, and this is an example of why not to hire a big firm to sell your property or buy your property in this case. I'm sure the buyers are probably happy, although I think buyers in Opendoor transactions get shafted. They don't get the full value of their home. They could, but they're sold on having a quicker transaction because Opendoor offers to pay cash. But they're not doing a good job getting this place sold, which is a disservice to their shareholders. They listed this place over 180 days ago at an original list price of $961,000. They really overshot on that price. They're now down to $784,000. So they have dropped the price over $150,000, and they still aren't getting sold. And they're doing this all wrong. If you look at this listing first, they're offering an extra incentive to agents at 3.5% commission to get this place sold. Not realizing, I guess, that the reason why it's not getting sold is something entirely different. I see a couple problems. Maybe the price is too high. I haven't looked at the neighborhood to know if that's too high for that neighborhood, but it probably is. But the other thing that's just so obvious is the buyer financing. It says they're only accepting cash, conventional, and VA offers right there in the middle of the page. But I redacted this section, but in that redacted portion, one of the things that they ought to be telling the world is that they are accepting FHA offers. We have so many buyers that qualify for FHA loans and they get better rates that way. They really need to advertise that they could accept an FHA loan. I think they mean to, but their mistake is they don't know our MLS. They don't know how to use our MLS properly, and therefore they omitted in a very important thing that might get this property sold, which is that they could accept an FHA loan offer. Let's go to another listing now. This one's in Oxnard. I looked at this property last week. Listed at $819,000, 4-bedroom, 4-bath property built in 1974. It's just over 2,000 square feet. It looked pretty nice. It's got a swimming pool in the back and a hot tub, and it's got a sauna in the property, which is unique. I thought it was pretty well maintained. It looks, recently remodeled, and it's been sitting there at $819,000 for a little while. Their original list price was $875,000, and they have subsequently dropped the price to $819,000, and they've been on the market for over 80 days, and nothing's happening for them, as far as we can tell. So let's say you're an FHA buyer, and you're looking at a property that's worth $800,000, and you want to use the minimum down payment of 3.5%, which is available for FHA loans. And by the way, you can use that for an $800,000 property. Last I checked, 5% is what was available as of a couple days ago when I printed this report out. APR would be 6.214, and that's assuming good credit. Your principal and interest without taxes and insurance on an $800,000 property with a 3.5% down payment would be $4,216. $4,216. We've got much lower rates too if you want to do a higher down payment. If you feel like pricing out any loan options, if there's a property that you're interested in, or you want to just figure out what the fees are, what your down payment might be for a particular loan program, how much your payment might be, or what the costs are on a particular transaction or on just the loan side, let me know. I'd be happy to go over all of this with you. You can email me at chuck@sold2000.com. You can get loan-specific information at our website, fund2000.com. Thanks for listening.